Melanin, the pigment responsible for the wide spectrum of human skin tones, is one of evolution's cleverest inventions. It acts like nature's built-in sunscreen, shielding skin cells from ultraviolet, UV, radiation, and reducing the risk of sunburn and DNA damage. But as with many evolutionary perks, melanin comes with trade-offs. While its protective properties are an undeniable asset under intense equatorial sun, in colder, cloudier climates, that same melanin can quietly become a liability, especially when it comes to producing vitamin D. Here's the science behind the paradox. Vitamin D synthesis begins in the skin, where UVB rays from the sun convert a cholesterol-based compound, 7-dehydrocholesterol, into previtamin D3. This then goes through a series of steps in the liver and kidneys to become the active form of vitamin D the body uses for calcium absorption, immune regulation, and more. But melanin, like a photoprotective umbrella, absorbs and scatters UVB rays before they can reach those skin cells. The more melanin someone has, the more UVB is blocked, and the less vitamin D is produced in a given amount of sunlight. This isn't a flaw, it's adaptive brilliance, if you live in a place where the sun beats down year-round. For people whose ancestors evolved in equatorial regions, the high melanin content provided vital protection against skin cancer and folate degradation, all while still allowing sufficient vitamin D production thanks to abundant sunlight. But transplant that same melanin-rich skin to higher latitudes, where sunlight is weaker, days are shorter, and winters are long and gray, and suddenly the equation flips. Now, the same skin that once prevented sun damage can limit the body's ability to make enough vitamin D altogether. Studies consistently show that individuals with darker skin tones are more likely to have lower vitamin D levels, especially in places like Northern Europe, Canada, or the Northern United States. This isn't just a biochemical footnote, it has real health consequences. Vitamin D deficiency has been linked to weakened bones, including rickets in children, increased risk of respiratory infections, autoimmune conditions, and possibly even mood disorders like seasonal depression. The risk is particularly high for people who spend much of their time indoors, wear some protective clothing for cultural or religious reasons, or avoid sun exposure due to skin cancer awareness. Ironic, considering the lower baseline risk of skin cancer among those with dark skin. These behaviors, combined with lower UV penetration due to melanin, can lead to chronically low vitamin D levels even in otherwise healthy individuals. So, what's the solution? It starts with awareness. Vitamin D needs aren't one-size-fits-all. People with darker skin living in colder, less sunny regions often require more sun exposure to make the same amount of vitamin D as their lighter-skinned peers, but this isn't always feasible or safe during winter months. That's where diet and supplementation step in. Vitamin D, rich foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified products can help, but for many, a daily supplement is the most reliable option, especially in seasons when sunbathing is less appealing than hibernation. There's also a broader need for public health messaging that reflects these biological differences. Standard vitamin D recommendations often don't account for skin tone, leaving at-risk groups underinformed. Culturally tailored nutrition advice, vitamin D screening for high-risk populations, and more inclusive healthcare guidelines could all help bridge the gap between evolutionary design and modern geography. In the end, melanin is neither friend nor foe. It's a beautifully functional pigment doing what it was meant to do. But when human migration and indoor lifestyles outpace the evolutionary playbook, that protection can become a barrier to essential nutrients. Recognizing that dual nature of melanin as both a shield and a filter is the first step toward making sure everyone gets the vitamin D they need, no matter what shade they come in or where they live.